They didn't knock, they didn't call. One morning, I walked outside and saw bright orange survey flags stabbed into my lawn like warning signs. A few hours later, a notice arrived in my mailbox claiming the HOA was reclaiming part of my property to build a community facility. No discussion, no consent, just a polite-looking letter telling me what they'd already decided. That's when I realized this wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a power move, and they thought I wouldn't fight back. I'd lived on this land for years, paid every tax bill, maintained every inch, never missed a single HOA fee. So when the letter said the HOA had the authority to take a portion of my land for a shared benefit project, I honestly laughed at first. Surely this was a mistake. HOAs are annoying, sure, but claiming private property? That sounded insane. Still, something didn't feel right. The wording was vague. The tone was confident, almost smug, like they'd already won. I went straight to the HOA office, calm, respectful. I asked for clarification. That's when they told me their plan, a storage and utility facility for maintenance equipment placed right on the edge of my lot. According to them, an old easement gave them the right. When I asked to see documentation, they brushed it off. Our legal team reviewed it. That sentence right there, that's when I knew something was off, because people who are right don't avoid showing proof. Within days, contractors showed up, not to ask, to measure, to mark. Watching strangers pace across my land like it already belonged to them lit a fire in me. I told them to leave. They said they were authorized. Authorized by who? Not me, and definitely not the deed. That night, I pulled out every document I had, closing papers, plats, surveys, things I hadn't looked at in years, and buried in those papers was the truth the HOA hoped I'd never find. The easement they were claiming, it expired decades ago. It was temporary, conditional, and never renewed. Even better, a newer survey clearly showed the HOA boundary stopping well short of my property line. This wasn't a gray area. This was black and white. They weren't mistaken. They were betting I wouldn't challenge them, betting I'd roll over because the HOA said so. I hired a land use attorney. Best decision I ever made. One letter from him changed everything. Suddenly, the HOA's tone shifted. Meetings were postponed. Emails went unanswered. And then, my favorite part, the contractors disappeared. No announcement, no apology, just gone. That's when the HOA called for an emergency meeting and invited me to attend. Funny how fast they want to talk when the facts aren't on their side. At the meeting, they tried to save face, claimed it was all a miscommunication, but my lawyer laid everything out. Expired easement, invalid claim, potential damages, and a not-so-subtle reminder of what unlawful land seizure can cost in court. The room went quiet. Board members avoided eye contact, and then the president said the words they never expected to say. The HOA withdraws its claim. Just like that. Game over. A week later, I received a formal letter confirming my full ownership and stating the project had been relocated far away from my land. No compensation offered, no apology included, but I didn't need one because I kept what was mine, and more importantly, I sent a message. Homeowners aren't powerless. HOAs rely on intimidation and silence. The moment you know your rights, that power disappears. So if you're dealing with an HOA that's pushing boundaries, literally or figuratively, don't assume they're right just because they're loud. Read your documents, ask questions, get help, because this land, this home, it's not theirs to take. And when I stood my ground, I showed them exactly who really owns the land. If you've ever faced HOA overreach, or you're dealing with it right now, share your story below. And trust me, this won't be the last time someone tries this, but next time they'll think twice.